Well, I didn't believe it in the first place. I thought, why would he suddenly be all cosy and nice and want to come? And why on earth would Meghan speak to King Charles if she hates the monarchy so much?
Have you ever considered that the most captivating love stories, the ones that feel destined, rarely begin with a contingency plan? True fairy tales, the kind that capture the world's imagination, certainly don't typically come with a plan well tucked away, ready for deployment if the initial strategy falters. But what if the iconic modern romance we've all followed, the one that captivated millions and reshaped a monarchy, harbored a secret that fundamentally challenged its very origin? What if the narrative we've been sold, the whirlwind romance that defied expectations, was merely a carefully orchestrated second act, a pivot after a more ambitious first choice went awry? Prepare to question everything you thought you knew about one of the most talked about couples of our time.
Meghan wouldn't be known for anything if she hadn't actually married Harry and been in the royal family.
I would argue that they were hounded out of this country. The press were very hostile. You and I are both being very hostile now. You could argue the press attention has made their life a misery. They're entitled to complain, and that actually it's affected their mental health.
No, that's nonsense. They wanted to leave. The Queen said you can go. You know, they had everything they wanted. If you've got, you move on.
Perhaps it's a shocking thought, but Meghan Markle's carefully constructed public image is now inextricably linked to an astonishing claim that suggests exactly that the fairy tale we witnessed unfold between her and Prince Harry was not, in fact, her primary objective. This isn't just idle speculation, it's a bombshell allegation, asserting that the Duke of Sussex, the man she would eventually marry and build a global brand with, was never truly her initial target. This stunning revelation, if true, doesn't just add a new twist to the royal saga, it shatters the very foundation of the Sussexes' carefully curated narrative, demanding a complete reevaluation of every public appearance, every interview, and every intimate detail shared about their journey together.
I think it was either a ploy set up so they can be nice and then whack them a week or so later. You know, there are people who do that.
Meghan, can you tell us what it's like becoming a new mum and tell us a little bit about baby Sussex, as we're calling him?
It's magic. It's pretty amazing, and I mean, I have the two best guys in the world, so I'm really happy.
And the alleged target of her original intentions, none other than Prince William, the future King of England. Imagine the sheer audacity of such a claim, suggesting that the heir to the throne, already married to Catherine, Princess of Wales, was the subject of Meghan's focus. This isn't merely a scandalous rumor. It paints a picture of a meticulously calculated approach to entering the royal family, one where the spare was a fallback and the heir was the ultimate prize. The implications are staggering, completely upending the narrative of a spontaneous, star-crossed love that swept Harry off his feet and challenged royal traditions.
What's really extraordinary is the Americans don't want any royal family telling them what to do at the, at all. They're not
even how to make bath bombs. I'm obsessed
even
with
how,
bath
certainly not politically. They don't want, Meghan's very political, and they don't want that.
This isn't just another fleeting tabloid whisper designed to stir cheap controversy. This deeply unsettling claim originates from acclaimed royal biographer Angela Levin, a journalist whose decades of unparalleled access to the innermost sanctums of the palace, having been plugged into palace circles for an extensive period, lend significant weight to her words. Levin, known for her candid and often critical insights into the monarchy, has a long-standing reputation for being well-informed, having cultivated relationships with numerous royal staffers and aides over the years. Her willingness to put her name behind such a provocative statement elevates it far beyond mere gossip, transforming it into a serious accusation that demands attention and, more importantly, a response.
To collapse.
You know, her wedding was £132 million, no gratitude. And the whole thing was to destroy them and to, get rid of them so they could come and present a more woke, upward market couple. But
Levin has openly revealed in interviews that she received these accounts directly from palace staffers and aides, individuals who were intimately privy to Meghan's earliest interactions within royal confines. These sources unequivocally insisted that Meghan's initial maneuvers and strategic positioning were never in fact aimed at Harry. Instead, they paint a startling picture of a woman laser-focused on William, not with any romantic overtures, but with a chilling, calculated, strategic intent. These insiders describe Meghan's early interactions as a masterclass in calculated warmth, a carefully positioned charm, and a subtle game of proximity designed to place her squarely in the orbit of the heir, not the spare. While Prince Harry would ultimately become her husband, these deeply embedded sources claim that William was the one she meticulously maneuvered around first, hinting at a level of premeditation that dramatically reframes the entire origin story of the Sussexes' relationship.
What I've done is learned this is what Harry does now. He doesn't just attack them once, he just goes on and on and on. You know, with Netflix, with Oprah Winfrey the first, and then that, and then moaning to everybody who he comes to. And I feel very strongly that he would have known what would be in this book, and he's done absolutely nothing about it.
This singular revelation, if substantiated, doesn't just tweak the edges of the Sussex fairy tale. It violently flips the entire narrative on its head, forcing a seismic reevaluation of everything the public believed about their romance. It provocatively raises the uncomfortable question, what if the love story that the entire world enthusiastically embraced and invested in was never the authentic, original script? This claim doesn't just land as a mild shock, it hits like a thunderclap, resonating with a disturbing perfect fit into the broader, often turbulent tapestry of royal narratives and public skepticism. It suggests a level of premeditation and ambition that fundamentally undermines the organic, destiny-driven romance that Meghan and Harry presented to the world, leaving a profound sense of potential deception in its wake.
Prince Harry is even more annoying than he is when he's with his wife.
Well, he's probably been instructed by his wife, but I'm quite surprised why I am and I'm not, actually, why she didn't come over, because it's obviously stressful.
Yeah.
He's obviously unable to cope with questions, or he has not done his research properly and he's sitting for an exam type of thing.
Consider for a moment Meghan's earliest public appearances alongside Catherine and William royal watchers, with their keen eyes for subtle cues and protocol breaches, began to notice what were then dismissed as minor innocent gestures at various charity events. However, these seemingly innocuous actions are now being chillingly reinterpreted through the lens of Levin's claims. Observers noted Meghan subtly moving closer to William after formal handshakes, at times even mirroring Kate's established placement beside him, almost as if attempting to integrate herself into their established dynamic. Even fleeting glances caught on camera, once considered benign, are now being dissected by critics who describe them as studied and deliberate. In one particularly telling moment, Harry was reportedly seen placing his hand on Meghan's back, a gesture now viewed not as affection, but as a subtle, unspoken reminder for her to maintain focus and perhaps temper her perceived proximity to his elder brother. Reports from those close to the situation suggest William remained impeccably polite but noticeably distant, never extending more than the bare minimum of interaction. And Catherine, the Princess of Wales, insiders now vehemently insist she spotted the vibe instantly. Far from being standoffish without cause, her perceived coolness was, according to these sources, a deliberate act of guarding her territory. This offers a truly chilling reinterpretation of years of icy glances and cold sister-in-law headlines, suggesting that the perceived frostiness wasn't the result of a cultural clash or personality differences, but rather a calculated protective defense against a perceived threat. This is precisely where the alleged contradiction cuts the deepest, transforming past observations into highly suspicious clues.
Be able to spend some precious times with him as he slowly starts to grow up.
And I hear you're off to see two special people in a minute.
Yes.
The Queen and the Duke.
Yes, and we just bumped into the Duke as we were walking by, which was so nice. So It'll be a nice moment to introduce the baby to more family, and my mom's with us as well. So it's been a really...
Meghan Markle has painstakingly crafted and meticulously built her entire global empire upon the bedrock of authenticity, presenting herself as a genuine, relatable figure who found her prince against all odds. Her multi-million-dollar Netflix specials, the Bombshell Oprah interview, and her lucrative speaking engagements all consistently peddle the same powerful narrative: a romance of destiny, a love so profound it courageously beat against the formidable tides of royal tradition and public scrutiny. Yet, if Angela Levin's incendiary claims hold even a sliver of truth, that Harry was never her initial target but a plan B, then this entire carefully constructed foundation begins to violently wobble, threatening to collapse under its own weight. Suddenly, those exquisitely polished interviews feel less like heartfelt confessions and more like strategic PR moves.